The Western world and its values are at risk. All our freedoms and everything we have in this country and the West in general could go away any moment. Now, for those of you who know me and this channel, know that I'm always, positive and I'm the eternal optimist. But sometimes we have to be realistic and talk about the dangers that we're facing. And so this video is to make sure that you are, staying alert, as Boris Johnson would say. Now, in this video, we're going to cover a number of different areas that are targeting the Western culture, the democracy that we have. So we're going to cover the cancel culture. We're going to cover economic socialism, because that's back, I know, and the mainstream media, the threats that we get from them, and cults like the SNP and their pseudo-nationalism, and finally, China. So let's start with the first one. As you can see, we have a lovely photo of Ash Sarkar. I'm literally a communist, Ash Sarkar. So first, let's talk about Owen Jones and the cancel culture. So this is Owen Jones tweeting, saying that all too often, cancel culture becomes a means for very rich and very powerful people to pretend that they are victims when people respond to very controversial things that they have used their huge public platform to say. People like Owen Jones believe that cancel culture is not real. People like Owen Jones believe that people on the left aren't asking for people to be cancelled. Well, Owen Jones himself tweeted this recently. Hi, University of Oxford. Can you please release a statement confirming that your Deputy Director of External Affairs and International Strategy has been fired by the end of the day? It's not even it's a very polite request, but it's a massive demand. This is mob rule mentality. These guys do it. So cancel culture isn't real. When they do it on the left, it's not real. Imagine if someone on the right goes around, if some people start a campaign to cancel all the left-wing comedians, for example, or whatever we have, the left-wing press. That doesn't happen. And also, if it happens, the outrage we're going to see from the mainstream media, from people like Owen Jones, the lefties, left and right centre, everywhere, they're going to lose everything. And this is absolutely nonsense. And we do have to counter this, because this is not new. It's always been there. But over the last 10 years, especially over the last, I would say, 6 to 7 years, it's been kind of spreading slowly with the millennial culture, the younger generations that started post-2010. And in the UK, everybody ignored it on the right, because they said, oh, it's such an American thing. We don't have problems here with identity politics and collectivism. Well, now it's coming out. Now it's getting too late. So we need to actually sort this out. We have a new generation, Generation Z. A lot of them are actually not woke anymore, but some of them are very, very woke. And they are joining this brigade, and it's not healthy. And but it's not just on a cultural level, because the values that we have in the West, democracy, free market capitalism, free speech, technically, are also at risk, because this is what happened yesterday. Christopher Snowden from the IEA, Institute of Economic Affairs, tweeted a picture of himself with a breakfast. I'm doing my bit for Britain. Are you? It's just light-hearted. He's having breakfast somewhere. I don't know if it's Wetherspoon. I can't really tell. It's a pub, and you would think this is a normal tweet. It's not controversial. It's not targeting anybody. The outrage. Get ready. This is one person, Alex Powell, saying, "This is such a toxic discourse." Why? Because of the bacon? You're not doing anything other than stuffing your face and having a pint. You're framing, firstly, that's not how you spell Europe, okay. Oh, and actually, that was my fault. Your framing gives the impression that older, disabled, pregnant, black, and other vulnerable people, just put everyone in the same basket, who are more at risk, are not doing their bit. Be more self-aware. How dare you? Yeah, look at that egg. I don't think they understand the point of this whole eating out, kind of encouraging people to go out and spend more money. It's not necessarily just for the sake of all the staff that are working in these pubs and restaurants who are on minimum wage. They need to keep their jobs. They need their business to prosper. It's also for the economic cycle. You need people to spend money. You need the cycle to actually start again after, 3-4 months of just not doing anything in the country. It gets worse. Look at this one. Max Morris says, "It's worse than that, Alex. These true patriots are doing their bit by killing our grandparents and key workers. As I've said before, F your economy. Dead people don't add to it, and nor do their grieving families. The more you consume, the longer and deeper the recession will be." That's literally the exact opposite of what happens economically. The more you consume, the more you spend, the more people are going to keep their jobs, and recession will go away. These people, like I looked up this guy, Max Morris. He's a proper socialist, like proper Corbynite, and they think that by bringing down the economy, you're going to stop the recession. Very confusing. And apparently, if you have breakfast, you basically want people to lose their lives. That's just how it works. This one is good. Socialist crow. If by that you mean going out to spend money on things which I can't afford, then no. Well, he's spending his own money, not your money, because I can't afford them. I mean, maybe because you're a socialist. And that is directly linked to the fact that we have had a Tory government for the last 10 years. So I've been doing my bit for Britain by voting for Labour. I mean, are you kidding me? Such an old line. So this is the risk that we have on the economic side. And then you have these idiots, the mainstream media, the BBC, are rivaling. They're starting a business empire now. They're rivaling Alexa and Amazon. So they're starting a BBC voice assistant, which comes with accents because it's so woke. This is funded by taxpayers' money, by your money. Well, those of you who pay your license fee. It's getting out of hand. It's getting out of control. The BBC needs to go because it's not... The problem with this whole concept of the BBC or defunding the BBC or reforming it is not necessarily about the funding. It's not even about this TV tax stuff. It's the whole concept of the propaganda machine that they've created, these guys. And in the name of the public broadcaster, they are brainwashing, not just us, but internationally, worldwide, because we have the BBC World Service and everything. And they are running the agenda, they are creating their own agenda, and a lot of people are falling for it. And this is the problem. A lot of people still complain about the mainstream media, but the moment they get their news from there and their spin, they kind of believe it, even if they don't want to, subconsciously. This is a bad thing. And luckily, the government are now edging towards, finally, to actually reform this thing. So they've been talks that the government could now actually finally decriminalize the non-payment of the BBC license fee. They're now warning the organization that, we are looking into decriminalizing this whole thing. And good. And that's the start. For those of you who, like me, want to get rid of the BBC as it is, then you have to start from here. That's the first step. Then the next step will be to actually completely cancel the TV tax and then reform it into a subscription-based or an ad-based service. So that's the mainstream media. The next one is Nicola Sturgeon and the SNP, the cult of the SNP. They're organizing a clap for Nicola Sturgeon, which is planned for next week. Right, just to clarify, this is Scotland, not North Korea. This is Scotland, not Iran. They are planning a clap for Nicola Sturgeon, their dear leader. This is bad. The reason this is a risk and a danger to our values is that we don't do this in the West. We don't idolize figures. We're not Cuba. This is a bad idea because you're creating a cult mentality. And as we've said, the SNP is not Scotland. We know that. And for those of you who go with the mainstream media and think just because SNP have the fake Scottish government, that means that all Scottish people are on the side of the SNP. It's not true. But this Facebook event is talking about how our First Minister has done an exceptional job throughout. No, she hasn't. She messed up everything. And we clap for our fantastic NHS. We even clap for Boris at some point. Why? I'm not quite sure. Wow. Let's give Nicola, the clap and all that. So, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Stop this cult mentality. The final issue is China. China is the biggest problem we have. They are infiltrating everything that we have. And so, Jesus College in Cambridge, part of the Cambridge University, one of the colleges, recently produced a white paper on global communications reform, which would essentially help Chinese firms and like Huawei. And we've just discovered that this college received £200,000 from the Chinese state and £155,000 from Huawei. This is according to the Times. They are infiltrating every corner of this country and this culture, and we don't even know what's happening because the new news just came out today as well. Apple confirmed that TikTok, the app that people have been using for fun, is made in China. And it actually has been spying on people and stealing people's data. So if you have TikTok, you probably need to delete it because they've actually been spying on you using your iPhones. So Apple confirmed that this has happened, and they're trying to put a stop to it, obviously. I told you, this is a big problem because with China, it's not necessarily what's happening recently, but they are very vicious. All they care about is that they become the new superpower. But it's still unlikely, but they would cause chaos. They will bring down the Western world if they're going down. They're going to bring down with them anyway. But this is absolutely a massive scandal with the Jesus College at the Cambridge University, and I really hope that this actually gets out there in the mainstream media. I know the Times are talking about it, but the press doesn't have the same power as the mainstream media. So this is what I wanted to cover today because, as I said, I'm always optimistic, I'm always positive, and I always try to focus using a different perspective in every issue. But we have to stay alert. This is what we're dealing with right now, and this is a very important problem that not many people are really concerned about because people are still living their lives and looking for a job, their family, and you might wake up one day, a few years from now, or a decade or two from now, and think, oh, we've lost everything. We've lost our democracy, our freedoms, our free speech, and our free market capitalist system. It's because of people like, President Xi and Nicola Sturgeon and Owen Jones and Ash Sarkar and the BBC. So, just wanted to let you guys know about all these issues that we're facing. But when it comes to the BBC, we have obviously started our campaign. The government are looking into it to make sure that you spread the word. Get your Defund the BBC t-shirts. The link is in the description. Wear it outside so people know that we are out here and we are countering this idiotic culture that they've created. So yeah, get your t-shirts until, I think, Sunday. We have this link. And if you want to support the channel, don't forget to become a member. Again, the link is in the description. You can just go on youtube.com/mytousi/join. We have massive plans for the members club, the membership club, to give you even more perks and benefits that we do already, to become more proactive rather than just have donations. So do that, and I will see you guys tomorrow with a new video.